Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to show you how to submit a Form REW-5, or a Request for Exemption or Reduction in Withholding of Maine Income Tax on the disposition of Maine rail property. Before we begin, these videos use example numbers for the purpose of demonstrating how the Maine Tax Portal, also known as the portal, works as a system and the basic mechanics of how to use the portal. The videos do not constitute tax advice. If you have a question about how to file your own taxes, how to file taxes for your business, or how to file the taxes you are preparing on behalf of an individual or entity, you should seek assistance from a tax professional. Now back to the content of this video. This is a non-logged-in activity, so we'll begin on the Maine Tax Portal homepage. Here, various options are organized into categories using separate panels. We are going to navigate to the top left panel, called Quick Links, and click the Register and Apply hyperlink. From here, we are going to review the right panel, called Real Estate Withholding, and click the hyperlink that says REW-5 Application. Before we begin our application, we read the instructions thoroughly. These instructions tell us whether this application is relevant to our situation and tell us what kinds of information we will need in order to complete the application. Once we have read through these and have everything prepared, we are ready to begin. So we'll click Next. Next is the applicant information screen. Required fields are indicated by red asterisks. Before we begin, we'd like to draw your attention to the Save Draft button at the bottom of the screen. This can be used to save our progress at any time. Or we can use the Cancel button to halt the activity and not save our progress. Or we can navigate back to a previous page by clicking either the Previous button or a previous screen name in the blue bar at the top. Now we'll begin filling out the required fields, including the applicant ID type, which does default to Federal Employer ID, the applicant ID number, and the applicant name. We'll also indicate the mailing address of the applicant. And as always, addresses must be verified by the United States Postal Service, which can be done by clicking the blue hyperlink at the bottom. Once we've verified the address, we'll enter in the applicant's email. And phone number. And click Next to proceed. On the next screen, we'll provide information about the property being sold, as well as the sale for which we are submitting this application. Again, required fields are indicated by red asterisks. However, we do have some additional information. So for this demonstration, we're also going to fill out some of those optional fields. Please note, when we enter a date of sale that is less than 5 business days away, we are shown a message to remind us that Maine Revenue Services must have at least 5 business days to respond to a Form REW-5 request. For the purposes of this demonstration, we'll say our sale is a bit further out to give more time to process the application. And once we've finished filling out all information, we'll click Next to proceed. Next is the seller information page. We'll provide seller information by clicking the Add Seller hyperlink, filling out the seller name, and seller's percentage of ownership. And then we'll click Add. We can see that that seller's information has been added to the table. If we need to edit a previous entry, we can click the pencil icon. Or if we've made a mistake and just want to remove a seller from the table, we can click the X. And we'll repeat those steps for each seller. And we can see that the total number of sellers is counted at the top. Please note there are special instructions for married individual sellers and pass-through entity sellers. For the purposes of this demonstration, those special instructions didn't apply, but if they had, we would have read those thoroughly and followed the instructions. For now, we'll just click Next to proceed. And on the next screen, we'll provide buyer information as well by clicking the Add Buyer hyperlink and entering in the buyer name. And we can see that that buyer has been added to the table. Similarly to the seller table, we can click the pencil icon to edit, the X to remove an entry, or the Add Buyer to enter in a second buyer's information. And we'll click Next to continue. Next is the attachments page. Required attachments are indicated by a red asterisk. And we can enter in additional optional attachments if we so choose. We can do this by clicking the Add Attachment hyperlink, selecting the type of file from the drop-down menu, browsing for our file, and clicking OK. And we can see that the file type that we've just attached is checked off the list. And we can repeat that process for each needed attachment. We'll browse for our second file and click OK. Once we've added all required and optional attachments, we can see that they have been added to the table below. If we need to remove an attachment, we can do so by clicking the Remove hyperlink. And we'll click Next to continue. We're brought to the summary screen where various information entered throughout the application is reiterated back to us. We'll scroll through this and confirm that everything looks correct, and click Submit. We'll add our email address twice to confirm. And click OK. This will be reiterated back to us on the confirmation screen, along with our confirmation code. These can be used to search the submission at a later time. As always, we encourage you to make note of this information for your records. That concludes our demonstration of how to submit a Form REW-5. Thank you all for watching.